Hello, I'm back with some Scum gameplay, and today we're going to be talking about survival. Now, there is a good chance of you surviving if you rush into the airfield and get a gun, but just in case you don't make it or you don't spawn anywhere near it, and you still need to survive in order for you to get to a good location with some weapons and some other things like that, here's everything you need to know about surviving in Scum. As soon as you spawn in, the first thing that you should be doing, you should be searching for rocks. There are going to be tons of them all the way around you. Search for rocks. As soon as you found two of those, go ahead and craft yourself a stone knife. By crafting a stone knife, you open yourself to a lot of possibilities. You'll be able to cut down certain things and you'll be able to upgrade to a better weapon. Now, the fist is actually not a bad weapon, but the stone knife will actually do slightly better damage if you do actually hit somebody with it. But the only reason you want this is so you can upgrade to something better. As soon as that's done, pick it up, put it into your hands, and go next to one of these little bushes and start cutting this down. By cutting down one of these little bushes, you'll be able to get yourself a couple of sticks. Now, you do want those sticks because with those, you can craft yourself, with the stone knife, a couple of wooden spears. Now, there might just be one, it might be two. One's going to do for us for now, so we're just going to craft the one advanced wooden spear. Now, with this one, you'll be able to take down other players that are unarmed a lot easier than using your fist. You'll be able to take down the Z a lot easier. So it's going to make things just that little bit easier for you early on in the game. While it's not going to be the best thing versus somebody who has a pistol or somebody who has a gun, it's still going to give you a better chance of surviving rather than not having anything on you. You can use the spear to block, you can use it for nice good attacks, and you can also throw it at something or somebody by holding your left mouse button. The next thing that we need is some inventory space. Now, inventory space is pretty scarce when you spawn in because you're only getting a couple of squares and you're not really going to store that much into it. So the first thing you want to do is take down one of these Muppets that you'll find. You'll find them all over the map. You'll find them throughout the map, in the wild, and next to towns. They'll be all over the place. You can't miss them, really. Once you take one of these down, chances are he's going to have a few decent items on him. But one of the things that you will have, you'll have plenty of clothing for you to get rags, for you to get things to bandage yourself, and also to give you just that little bit more inventory space. If you find one that's got a helmet, you might find a couple with military pants and fanny packs and all sorts of other things like that. They're still good to have. The next thing that you do once you've gotten yourself some inventory space is a bit of foraging because you will need to eat. Now, you'll see there's only an option there to eat that thing, but you don't want to eat it straight away because you don't know if it's good. But if you hold F on it, you'll be able to pick it up and then cook it or use it in a recipe later on. Or you can just go into your menu by pressing tab, right click on it, and then you can just pick it up that way if that's going to make it a little bit easier for you. There is plenty of recipes that you can do with mushrooms, so I'd keep a couple on me. You never know what you're going to craft. Next thing is going to be harvesting gardens. Gardens are going to be throughout little villages. You'll find all sorts of these gardens. They'll have anywhere from cucumbers to onions to potatoes to cabbage, all sorts of cool stuff that you'll be able to find, and it will sustain you and you'll nourish you. And you will actually need these because you need to keep an eye on your digestion system. If you don't have a balanced diet, you will actually get diarrhea, you'll get constipated, you get all sorts of other nasty sort of things that happen, and you don't want that to happen. The next thing that we're talking about is cans. Now, you can see once you've picked up a can in a supermarket or a house or something, you won't be able to do nothing, so you'll need a can opener. All you do is you click it and you make it red, and then you right click on the actual can and you will be able to open it. You won't be able to get into these unless you've got a can opener, and that really will save you a lot of time. But since you're going and foraging, sometimes you might actually not need this because you will need to head into a town in order for you to find one of these. Next order of business is actual cooking itself. Now, while you can survive most of the time of just picking up fruits and vegetables from gardens and picking up stuff that you find in the wild, sometimes you might want to do a bit of hunting, you might want to get a bit more, you want to get some meat, and then you can start getting some of that cooked. You will be able to find all sorts of wild animals in the world, from deers to boars to bears, all sorts of cool stuff like that you will be able to find. Once that's done, get yourself into a forest, start cutting down one of the trees. By cutting the tree down, you'll be able to make the simplest fire. You don't need any rocks, you don't need anything, you'll be able to make this. Now, the next thing what you do is you want to light this up. The reason we can't do that is because we don't have anything to start the fire with. So you'll go ahead and craft one of these. Again, it's only going to be just a couple of sticks. It's going to be easy enough for you to craft, and it will get you a fire started. just for you to be able to cook some meat. Once that's done, go ahead and put that into your inventory. They always sort of drop on the floor. Make sure it's selected. Make sure it's red in your hands. Same thing as before, you do have two options. Either you can hold F, as long as you have that thing in your hand and it's highlighted red, or you can just go to the fire, right click it, and then light fire. It'll take a little bit of time for you to light it, but eventually it will be lit and you'll be able to do some cooking. So the next thing that we want now, I did kill an animal earlier on, and I want to make myself something to eat, a bit more nourishing, a bit more meat, let's just say. So the first thing that we're going to craft is we're going to craft one of these skewers, and we need to have a couple of pieces of meat. You don't actually need to have the salt and the spices and things like that in your inventory. Sure, probably there's going to give you better nutrition value, but it's still cooked meat at the end. So once that's done, that little skewer is going to be right there for you. You can put that into your inventory, and once that's put into your inventory, you can right click and eat if you want to, or eat all. But what you really want to do is you want to cook that meat. So again, go back to your fire. Make sure you right clicking on your fire on your left side there. Make sure it's selected. Cook. Should only take anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds for you to cook it, and then that meat is good to eat. Go ahead and just pick it up in your hands. Once you pick that up, ignore the little buzzing flying machine that goes around there taking pictures of you or somebody's watching you. Just go ahead and eat some of that beautiful barbecue. I think that was deer. Some beautiful deer. And then that's it. You're pretty much done with that. Next thing that we're going to talk about is the ability for you to craft other things. That you will find stuff in the world. I mean, for instance, I'm crafting some popcorn. As long as you find some corn, some butter, in one of those pots. And just like that, surviving ain't hard anymore because you've got yourself some popcorn. All you need is just the movies, and then that's it. Now, sadly, you do lose the pot once you've ate all the popcorn. I was kind of hoping that that might just give you an extra pot so you can cook a couple of more things with it, so you'd have to carry it with you. But hey, can't be too bad. Next thing is water. Obviously, you can go to a fountain and just drink water, wells, lakes, rivers, but you can also fill a bottle that you have. Same thing, make sure you highlight it, the bottle, right click on it, and then fill. Same thing in the lake, make sure you select it, right click on the lake, and then fill bottle. Same thing happens if you just hold F on the lake, it'll give you an option for you to fill the bottle, so you can just refill it. It will work with any bottle that you have, any plastic bottle, any glass bottle, anything, it will work. Another thing that you might want to keep an eye on is this bit little here with your sickness and what kind of injuries you have and things like that, and the two types of rags. Now you'll have some clean ones, which are just normal rags, and you have the dirty ones. The dirty ones will not let you patch your wounds, so you will need to keep an eye out for some clean clothing inside houses. Go ahead and cut those down, and you'll be able to use those to bandage your wounds. Next thing to keep an eye on is your system. Your system will make or break you, because you'll get yourself into a town, you'll get yourself into a location where you've gone in for some loot, you didn't really pay attention to what you had to eat, and then all of a sudden you'll start bursting with diarrhea, and it's going to do it straight away without any warning. Keep an eye on your system, because like I said, it will make or break you. Luckily for me, I did manage to shut the door before these guys chased me down. But it can happen to you mid-firefight. You'll collapse, you're overburdened, you're carrying too much, you're getting sort of hypothermia, there's heat stroke, you'll collapse. There's so many other things that you need to worry about in the game, and I kind of really enjoyed that. Well, things might change in the future, and hopefully they'll be adding more and more to the game, including sort of base building and some of the things like that. Now you know how to survive off the land. The only thing you really need to worry about is other players.